Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it.
We're a couple of months away from the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and a rumor has it that we have a precise date for both of the consoles. Last week, we were talking about the Xbox Series X potentially releasing it early November, somewhere around November 3, November 5th. And now, according to VGC, which cites numerous development and retail sources, both consoles are going to be releasing within weeks of each other, with the PlayStation 5 coming out on November 13th.
Here's the thing, though. They're also saying at the same time that although they're slated for the first week, they also say that it might actually come out on November 6th because most video game consoles come out on a Friday. However, they're like, maybe there's a slight chance it might even come out on a Tuesday. So it's like a whole mess. But we kind of have sort of somewhat like a date range right now.
Yeah.
So either November 3rd or the 6th, or November 13th and the 10th. So the first week would be the Xbox, and then the next week would be the PS5. And honestly, I'm not surprised. You're not surprised either, are you?
Oh, definitely, because my birthday's around November 9th, so it's like, I know when my birthday comes, I'm like, I know I'm going to treat myself to a PlayStation 5.
Or are you like dropping hints like, friends out there?
4215.
4215, or why not your friends?
Well,
Like, just like, send a text by mistake, be like, oh, I really want one. Oh, I wasn't supposed to be talking to you guys. This was for somebody else. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you guys feel like pitching in together and buying me a
True.
PS5,
But you know what's better?
Yeah.
Saying it here live across the entire country.
Why not? Why not? I mean, it's across the country, across the world as well, because we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're on all of those, podcasts as well. We're everywhere, so you're basically telling everybody, the entire world, and maybe even beyond, if the aliens are listening as well, that Mikhail would accept.
Would humbly
accept
a generous offering of some kind.
Namely in the shape
of a PlayStation 5.
Of a PlayStation 5.
Not the digital edition, standard edition
the
only.
The standard edition, of course.
4215.
4215. You guys want to send us a DM? I'm supporting this. Come on, help a guy out, guys. Get him his
Aisha
PS5.
knows what's up, man. I love it.
I'm here to support you. Hashtag
the Dream Team.
And with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with so much more. We have these sports headlines coming up. And remember, hashtag a PS5 for Mikhail. We'll be right back after this break.
Pulse 95.
Back at it again with the X-Files soundtrack, but this time we do have an X-Files story because Fox is actually going to be producing an X-Files animated comedy spin-off, and they're just started working on it. The show is currently titled X-Files, The X-Files Albuquerque.
Basically, they're gonna be like the X-Files B team when it's when the things that they are given is just too random, too not that important for Scully and Mulder. So this team takes care of it. So it's gonna be more of a comedy. It's much more lighthearted, and for that, guys, this could have been a live action. Why isn't this a live action? It would have been fantastic.
I think with Fox, they have a real, they just have a general interest for animated series. Family Guy, The American Guy. What's recent from Fox that
The Simpsons as well.
Simpsons
That's
as
well
well
known from Fox/FX. But honestly, I feel like this would have. I'm not downplaying animation. I'm a big fan of animation, just like you are.
Yeah.
But I feel it would have been really nice for it, even to see Scully and Mulder reprise their roles every once in a while. That would be interesting. So I feel like a live action would have dealt with it a bit nicely, or at least would be a nice crossover, a nice continuation.
Yeah.
Because although, again, I am a big fan of animation, I'm not going to downplay it ever. It's a fantastic, beautiful form of expression and, storytelling. I feel like it feels more of just like the actual team, it feels like a side project in this case.
I see what you mean.
It doesn't feel like they want to go in completely into it.
I wanna believe that animation does have what it takes to maybe
It
tell this
definitely
kind of
does,
story.
but I'm talking about the fan base itself.
Yeah.
Is it?
It will feel very different than what people are familiar with.
Exactly. It's going to be more of for a specific type of people. I mean, in general, not a big group of people enjoy animation as a whole. And even people who enjoy things like, Family Guy, American Dad, and The Simpsons are another small, I'm not saying a small fan base, but a smaller fan base.
Okay, I think maybe an artistic choice here is if they were to go live action, maybe the show would end up being a little bit too dramatic for comedic effect. So
You
they
think
thought
so?
they thought, let's go cartoony, let's just go old cartoony for the sake of comedy.
I also believe maybe there could be a slight chance that they felt that it's not worth to put in that much money. I'm not saying animation does not require a lot of money and a lot of work. It does. It certainly does.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hard work from a lot of fantastic and hardworking people. But in comparison to doing a full-out CGI and all that, because you're going to need to render all these monsters, right? So that would cost them a lot more than just going through the animation route.
You're right. CG and all that would have been a little bit too much.
Maybe.
So I think they do have a tight budget, and animation could be the right place to be for a story like this. But still, I mean, a comedy spinoff of the X-Files, that does sound very promising.
It does.
And hopefully when we get more details, it's still in the beginning development.
It is. And the thing is, because I'm feeling like I want to see Gillian Anderson more, maybe just a tiny bit.
You might get cameos.
We might get cameos, but I hope so. Fingers crossed. I want to see them all. At least hear them at least.
What's important here is the style of animation.
Yes.
If it's too simplistic, the way they do like Family Guy, it could risk having people lose interest.
Oh, it's gonna. I feel like, although I'm trying to be optimistic, I don't feel that optimistic about it. We're gonna be taking a break, and then next up we've got McDonald's and Travis Scott, so stay tuned for that.
Not in the news?
Not in the news. Weirdness that happened
Today.
True story.
When you think of collaborations with McDonald's, you would not think, like the first name that pops into your head would be anybody but Travis Scott.
I know.
And yet,
Here we are. You know what's funny about Travis Scott is, again, you're right about like him not being able to, you wouldn't imagine the collaboration, but Travis Scott has collaborated with Nike. Did very successful. He collaborated with I think a cereal called General Mills. Apparently, it sold out in 30 seconds the second it got released.
Wow.
And he even set some really big records with the virtual concert that happened in Fortnite. It just seems anywhere he is sponsored, whatever brand he's associated with, it's always going to be very successful.
And he also produced and created a song for Tenet a week ago.
Yeah.
And even that took us by surprise, but looks like Travis Scott is just like, he's gonna be the pit bull of this decade, I'm guessing.
I think he just resonates very well with just this generation,
Maybe. I mean, we're not downplaying his abilities and capabilities and his talent, but again, not McDonald's. And apparently, however, that McDonald's also gonna be collaborating with other big celebrities. But here's my question. What is the collaboration going to be?
Travis Scott combo? Something like that.
The Scott combo?
The Scott combo? That could work, yeah.
You think it's going to be some sort of burger then?
Some sort of burger, maybe a sauce of some kind.
I know. It's going to be like, you know how they have, what do you call them? Those McFizz drinks, or usually they pick like one sort of ingredient or like some sort of summer flavor and autumn flavor.
Like a strawberry fizz, and that would be his thing.
That would be a strawberry fizz, and then have like a strawberry McFlurry, a strawberry whatever, the strawberry pie and whatnot. So maybe they take his favorite ingredient or something and just make an entire line out of it.
Or just go to the Happy Meal edition, and you get the Travis Scott minifigures or something.
There have been some renderings that have been going around across the internet of a tiny Travis Scott that you get with your Happy Meal.
Or, you can get Travis Scott like a Happy Meal, and you get like a code in the Happy Meal they can put in Spotify, and you get yourself, or Apple Music, and you own the Travis Scott music on your account.
You kind of do when you already subscribe. You kind of do own the song.
Something, I don't know, just in that line,
ideas, all viable ideas. Text us 4215 because a lot or do. tell us, what is the Travis Scott collaboration with McDonald's? I think it's going to be either the ingredient thing, or like you said, maybe his own burger, the Scott burger, the Scott combo. Tell us, hit us with all of that. Coming up next is a serious discussion about what happens to an actor or an actress in a bad movie after they leave it. So stay tuned for that chat.
This is Pulse 95.
Daisy Ridley, who is also known as Rey, not Rey Skywalker. This is Rey.
Hashtag not my Skywalker.
Not a Skywalker. I mean, if we want to go and talk about that, we can say that I feel like J.J. Abrams kind of destroyed the whole idea of a nobody becoming a somebody. Would have been fantastic, but we're not talking about Star Wars. We're talking about Daisy Ridley herself, who apparently says that right after she finished the trilogy, it was very hard for her to get a job. And that resonated with the same thing that happened with Hayden Christensen back when he did the prequels, the Star Wars prequels, and how right after that, he did not manage to... He wasn't employable, basically.
Is that...
He played Anakin.
That's the... Oh, yes, you're right. I even watched YouTube videos recently of how he was bullied at a young age, ridiculed almost by nerds and such, just fans of Star Wars. And he grew up... You think you grow up to be in the spotlight a little bit longer, but no, he stepped out of Hollywood completely, and he has turned into a damaged individual.
I mean,
that's insane.
That is very upsetting, and that is, I feel, the cost of Hollywood. And maybe you can even say that this is the cost of something that he shouldn't be bearing, or even Daisy shouldn't be bearing, because it wasn't their story. They weren't the ones who wrote the lines or these storylines. So for them to be, bullied, that is very upsetting. It reminds me also of the lovely actress Kelly Marie Tran, who plays Rose Tico, also in the trilogies.
Oh dear.
She got bullied off of every single social media platform because of just her role, even though, again, it wasn't in her hands. So it's just very weird, first of all, for people to go up and bully actual people that are separate from their character entities. It's like, first of all, guys, those are humans. What are you doing? Why are you being terrible on the internet?
Yeah.
And two, again, they're not their characters, and they're not the ones who wrote these characters.
It's weird because this is like the dark side of a fan base, and this just doesn't happen in Star Wars. It happens in all of the big fan bases for franchises. I remember there was this one time I used to think that Daniel Radcliffe doesn't have what it takes to step out of Harry Potter and get into other movies, but he's one example of being able to separate himself from that Harry Potter craze and make movies that he's always wanted to do.
I believe also Robert Pattinson is the same thing.
Yes.
Like Batman aside, people have been saying, he hasn't been active. He has been active. Same with Daniel Radcliffe. They just decided to step down and start making more indie movies, more smaller movies instead. And one of the nice things for Daisy, at least, she says that eventually she did start getting a lot of projects and she's back on the roll, so we're looking forward to that. And another nice announcement was Kelly Marie Tran is also gonna be the voice of Raya from Raya and the Dragon, which is technically the first, Asian American or South Asian American, Southeast Asian American. I'm sorry if I'm getting the ethnicities wrong, guys. My memory is bad. But besides that, she's going to be the first ever lead, and that just resonates. It's going to resonate in a lot of people's hearts and minds for the rest of her life. So even though she had a bad thing with Star Wars, same thing with Daisy, I hope that they can, go past those big titles.
I think the biggest lesson to learn from this is think twice before you audition for the next Star Wars. Just saying,
Oh, maybe
you don't know what you're stepping into.
Maybe it is cursed. We don't know. We're going to be taking a short break, and we'll be back with our favorite segment, that is Aisha and Mikhail Suggest. So stay tuned.
It's almost 5 p.m.
That was Afternoon Karak. For dessert,
Aisha and Mikhail Suggest.
As usual, we'd like to leave you with a small piece of advice. Sometimes it's something very important, and sometimes it is super important, like this one.
Yes, for many years, I've had a cookie conundrum.
Cookie conundrum. I like
Yes.
that.
And it's basically the whole problem with, you know how you dunk your cookie into a cup of milk, and if you don't time it just right, and sometimes even the cookie itself, if it's too soft, it's gonna break apart and fall and drown into the abyss of the milk. And,
Truly,
and you have
truly
to
a conundrum.
You have to shamefully go in with your fingers as you try to pick out whatever mush that's left, and you're
Yeah.
just like, what a waste.
I mean,
So-
you can use a spoon.
That's not gonna, you know how it is. It's just a pride thing, you know. It's a guy thing. You
Okay, okay.
and sometimes you're just too lazy to get the spoon. You know, you just gotta get in there and I'm hungry. I want my cookie.
See, that's why usually when I'm having tea and I'm dipping my my biscuit into it, I always have a spoon on the side because I know it's gonna happen. But this is not my part, not my suggestion. This is yours, so.
So I've done a lot of research. I've looked into the internet. I've asked people, and the
Okay.
solution to this cookie conundrum:
Yeah.
take your cookies, your biscuits, or whatever you usually dunk into your cup of milk, put it in the fridge. Even better yet, put it in the freezer for just a good half hour. Let the cookie harden just a bit so that when you're able to put it in your cup of milk, it's hard enough but also soft enough to be able to absorb the milk and still hold itself. Be, you know, just be intact, be strong, the infrastructure.
You can, guys, anybody who's watching us through YouTube can see the passion igniting from Mikhail's eyes because this is super important to him, isn't it?
I love cookies, and I always want to make the experience of eating cookies, you know,
Easier.
perfect.
Also,
Easier,
yeah.
convenience.
Yeah.
So
All about efficiency.
Harden the cookie in the fridge and then take it out, dunk it in the milk, and I believe me, it's gonna do wonders for you.
But what is the sweet spot? What is the right amount of time? Is it 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or does it depend on the fridge?
Rough, I would say it depends on the fridge, but
Yeah.
give it, if you're gonna put it in the fridge, put it half an hour. If you're gonna put it in the freezer, 10, 15 minutes.
Well, there you go.
Take it out, dunk it, and just put it in there as much as you can because the right amount is when you put it in your mouth and you're able to do like this, like suction, like, and you get the milk as you bite into the cookie,
Okay.
and you have a good time.
Very
That's a little too detailed,
too
but you know.
descriptive, but I get it. You're very passionate about it. So if you guys are as passionate as Mikhail about your cookies and your milk, now you have a solution to this conundrum. And with this conundrum, we end the show. We'll leave the desk for Big Hass and Anna Schofield. Yalla home from 5 to 8 p.m. where the fun continues. Only here on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95. You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.